great candidate to vote for that I can actually vote for. There's been a lot of years where I've gone in and there's nobody to vote for. And so this year we have some good candidates and lots of places on the ballot, and I'm thrilled about that. And I'm thrilled that I know Amy Wasyluka, and here's our next state senator from District 2.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much to Alice and Betsy for opening up their home for us this evening and for letting us all come here and share this time with them. Thank you so much to the band. Y'all are amazing. I am so thankful that you're willing to come here and do this as well. And thank you to each one of you. I cannot tell you how much it means that you come out and want to hear a little bit about our campaign and hopefully support us, because it is so very important. This year in 2018, we have an opportunity to take back much needed seats in our state legislature. As many of you know, right now we have a supermajority in Alabama, and that means that what we don't have is balance. When we don't have balance, our system does not function, and it has not been functioning for the people of our district. Since 2010, we have become 47th and 48th in the country in terms of healthcare, education, and the opportunity to earn a living. These are the building blocks of the American dream. Without healthcare, you cannot stay healthy to learn. You cannot stay healthy to work. Without education, you can't prepare yourselves for the opportunities to support yourself or your family. And without good jobs in your area, you cannot put down roots here. These are the things that are at stake in 2018. And now I want to tell you how we're going to get there. The absolute most important thing that you can do in any campaign to make a change is canvas, as I'm sure Alice knows extremely well. That is even more important when we're talking about state senate districts, because our districts are larger. To give you an idea of how big the task ahead of us is, I need 28,055 people plus one to vote for me on November 6th. To make that happen, I have to canvass twice that many in the next 60 days. What that breaks down to is 936 houses a day. There is absolutely no way that I can physically do that. There is absolutely no way that me and my campaign alone can physically do that. We rely on the support of our community who understand and believe in our message. And our message is change. What we want to change are those building blocks we talked about. In terms of healthcare, we want to expand Medicaid. We want to get our working Alabamians access to the preventative care that they need to stay working and to access preventative care rather than having to rely on emergency medical care, which contributes to rising premiums and which contributes to lower quality of life. In terms of education, we want to bring a lottery to Alabama to help fund our education system. A lottery is not a silver bullet, but it is a tool in our toolbox that has gone unused for far too long, especially when so many people in our district cross state lines to fund an education system.
Every week.
When we could be funding ours. We also need to treat our teachers with the support and with the dignity that they have earned and that they deserve. We need to recognize education as the vital resource that it is, and understand that when we invest in our education, we're investing in the future of our district and the future of our state. In terms of ability to earn, so many politicians talk about supporting our small and local businesses. How many politicians go out there and talk to those small and local businesses and see what it is that they need? From what I've heard, it's been a whopping total of none. I have been doing that. I've been talking to local businesses and small businesses in District 2, and they have been dying for someone to ask them what they need. Who would think, right here, so close to Rocket City, we don't have the training programs that we need to allow people to get in at trade-level jobs in our aerospace program? We don't have that. There's no excuse why we don't have that. We can bring that here. We also have a thriving craft brewing industry, which is struggling under years of regulations meant of regulations meant to apply to larger companies, which has kept our local industries from growing. These are the kinds of things that our politicians need to be talking about and need to be looking into. My campaign is committed to doing that going forward. We're also committed to bringing balance to Montgomery. I've told you we have a supermajority. We also don't have representation. There's more than 50% of our state that are women. Do any of you know how many women make up our state senate? 4. 4 state senators are women. 4 out of 35. Do you know how much money the people of our state lose annually because we're not paying women equally for equal work? $11 million. Imagine the tax revenue that we could bring into Alabama to support our education, to support our infrastructure, if we simply paid people what they earned. And let me tell you, the current political system, the good old boy system, does not want that to change. Who all follows what happens in Huntsville here locally? Do any of you get Mayor Battle's weekly updates? On August 10th, he had a meeting with what he called the legislative delegation to talk about legislation for 2018. That delegation was not all incumbents, but I'll tell you one thing, it was all Republicans and it was all men. My opponent was at that meeting, even though he is not an incumbent. House District 10's opponent was at that meeting, even though he is not an incumbent. And State Senate 10's opponent was at that meeting, even though he is not an incumbent. They have already picked who your next representatives and state senators are going to be. And you are not represented there. But we can change that.
And we will.
And we will. The seat I'm running for, you may have been told that Alabama is a red state. And that this is a hard seat to run for. It is not. This seat has only been held by a Republican incumbent since 2010. Before that, we had a Democrat, who I'm now running against. He's running as a Republican.
Well,
Yes. This seat has a history of having a Democrat in it and promoting balance and fairness. We need to restore that. And we can in November 6th of 2018. But I need each and every one of you to get on board and believe that we can. And when I say believe it, I don't mean just believe it in your hearts. I mean make a commitment here tonight to make sure that that happens. I told you canvassing was the #1 most important thing you can do. We canvass every single weekend on Saturdays and Sundays. You can check us out on Facebook and get those times. So if you can canvass, please come canvass. If you can't canvass, we do phone banking and postcard writing on Wednesdays. If you can't do either of those things, please support us with your donations. And if you can't do that, find 5 friends who can share our items on social media and who are willing to vote for us or who are willing to listen to our message. Because I've told you the numbers. I can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. We're relying on each and every one of you to make sure that on November 6, 2018, we put people over party in Senate District 2. So thank you all so much for coming. I'm so excited to see each and every one of you here. And like I said, please support our campaign. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have. And I look forward to speaking with all of you. Thank you so much.